it can be hard to know exactly what you need or how much money you should spend to get your ideal Zwift setup. With that in mind, we have examined all of the options and put together a guide to the best Zwift setups for every rider and every budget. We'll assume you've already got a bike, but what else do you need? Well, we're here to deliver our verdict on exactly what you need, regardless of your budget. In this video, we'll cover everything from getting started, what devices can be used to ride on Zwift, and what accessories you might want to build the ultimate indoor cycling setup. And before we get started, a big thanks to our sponsor Zwift for their help in making this video possible. What is Zwift and why should you use it? For those who don't already know, Zwift is a massively multiplayer online cycling game. It has numerous different worlds to ride around, virtual group rides to join, workouts and training plans to complete, and races to be won or lost. Zwift is a great way to reap the benefits of indoor cycling in a way that is both fun and engaging. However, putting together the best setup for Zwift depends not only on budget, but also exactly what you want to get out of your time. From simply exploring a virtual world to log some easy winter miles, to launching your very own racing career. Right, let's start with the essentials for a budget setup, covering entry-level smart trainers and the essential accessories. In our experience, a budget wheel-on smart trainer is the ideal introduction to the immersive experience apps such as Zwift offer. If you're on a tight budget, we would strongly recommend a cheap wheel-on smart trainer over a regular dumb, i.e. non-smart, turbo trainer. A smart trainer enables you to get a much fuller experience of Zwift's virtual worlds and workouts thanks to their ability to vary the resistance and measure power. These typically range in price from around £250 to £400 or dollars. As you might guess, there are compromises to be made with wheel-on smart trainers at this price point. For example, most tend to be quite loud, especially when you're really going for it, and the power and cadence measurement accuracy typically isn't perfect. Due to their use of smaller, lighter flywheels and less robust construction, the ride feel usually isn't the best either. Lastly, the lower maximum power output and simulated gradients typically mean smart trainers at this price point are best suited to less powerful riders and can be limiting if you're planning on doing any virtual racing. All things considered though, they do deliver on the basic promise of providing an immersive and enjoyable indoor cycling experience at a low price, and that's not to be sniffed at. It's worth noting that it is possible to use Zwift with a non-smart trainer and a few key accessories such as a speed and cadence sensor or a power meter. If you already have a dumb trainer and just want a way to dip your toes in the cool waters of interactive indoor cycling, perhaps before committing to a big purchase, then it could be something worth trying. You will, however, be missing out on many of the immersive features that make Zwift so fun, so it isn't an ideal solution in the long term. If you'd like to know more about how to get started on Zwift with a dumb trainer though, check out our article to the best Zwift setups for every rider via the link in the video description below. As for accessories, there are a few extra bits and pieces that will improve your indoor training experience even if you're on a tight budget. Although using a bigger screen is usually preferable, Zwift can actually be played on many common smartphones or tablets, so you needn't splash out for a big screen setup if you don't want to. If you are playing on a smaller smart device though, having some kind of stand to hold it securely within reach is well worth having. As many of you may already be aware, cycling indoors without any wind to cool you down can be sweaty work. So, with that in mind, investing in a fan is crucial. There are expensive indoor cycling specific fans, which we'll talk a bit more about later, but in reality, you just want to blast some cool air at yourself to help your body's natural cooling processes to work efficiently, and most cheap desktop fans will do a pretty good job. Another inexpensive accessory worth having is a front wheel riser block. Though technically not required for many trainers, they can help stabilize your bike and stop the front wheel from turning accidentally. If you want to listen to music or podcasts while you ride, then some Bluetooth headphones can also be handy. You needn't spend loads, but getting a set with some degree of water resistance is obviously a smart move. In terms of what to wear, your standard summer cycling kit will do just fine, so there's no need to invest in anything more specific. We would recommend having a towel to hand though, as you don't want any salty sweat getting all over your lovely bike. And remember to fill up your water bottles before you get going. Now let's look at your mid-range options. As usual, if you've got a bit more money to spend, you'll have far more to choose from. In our experience, the biggest leap in performance comes around the £450 or dollars mark, where direct drive models start to appear. With a direct drive trainer, you remove the rear wheel from your bike and mount the bike directly to the trainer. Here, you get a big step up in the key features such as ride feel and accuracy, as well as the maximum power output and simulated gradients. This means these trainers are capable of taking advantage of practically every feature Zwift offers. The result is a more enjoyable and immersive experience, and beyond this price point, the performance gains are fairly marginal. As a bonus, direct drive trainers are typically far quieter than cheaper wheel-on models too, although the exact noise levels do vary by model. For our pick of the best smart trainers currently available, click on the link in the video description below to read all of our in-depth smart trainer reviews. The only downside of trainers at this price point are that their specs might not be enough for the most powerful riders out there, and the power and cadence data they produce often has a few quirks in extreme scenarios. For the most part, these are things you would only notice if you're as strong as a pro cyclist or use multiple power meters at the same time, so they tend not to overly affect the in-game experience. In terms of accessories, if your budget can stretch to accommodate it, or if you already have access to one, then playing Zwift on a big screen can make a huge difference to the experience. Any standard television or external monitor should do the job, and there are lots of reasonably priced adapters available which will enable you to connect the monitor to your smartphone or tablet. That said, one of the best ways to play Zwift on a big screen is to use an Apple TV box. The newer 4K model offers the best performance, and with prices starting from £169, it's an excellent option compared to buying a new laptop or desktop computer. This also frees up your smartphone, meaning you can use it to access the Zwift companion app while riding. Lastly, if you're doing intensive training or racing on Zwift, then having access to a bigger fan will help keep you cool and comfortable. If you take your indoor cycling seriously and you've got the cash to spend, why not treat yourself to the ultimate setup? For around £700 to £800 or dollars and up, the best smart trainers start to tick every single box. You will get leg braking, maximum power and simulated gradient specs, plus heavier flywheels and sturdier constructions which offer even better ride feel. These flagship smart trainers typically also offer pinpoint power and cadence measurement, ensuring your training is as accurate and effective as possible, and that none of your precious watts are going astray in virtual races or group rides. All that said, as with many product categories, it is a case of diminishing returns at the high end. Most everyday riders won't see a huge step up in performance with a high-end trainer over a mid-range model. If you've got the budget and the space, you could even opt for a smart indoor bike. These can offer key features such as highly adjustable fit, even higher maximum power outputs, and the most stable, most realistic ride feel available. They also save your real bike from any wear and tear, which might be important if it has expensive components on it. With prices starting around £2,000 or dollars though, they're certainly not cheap. You'll also need a dedicated place to keep them set up, as they can't be folded down for storage and they tend to be too heavy to move around regularly. For some people though, the benefits of simply jumping on a dedicated indoor bike will be worth it, but for many, the flexibility of using a smart trainer will win out. If you have access to a more powerful laptop or desktop computer, then these can be ideal devices for using Zwift. Just like with many other computer games, you'll have almost untapped potential for high-resolution graphics and higher frame rates, which can make the game more immersive and more responsive. Alternatively, you could even hook up your smart device to a projector for a truly cinematic experience. Beyond screens, some smart trainer brands make climb simulation devices which tilt your bike up and down in response to in-game gradient changes, though you'll want to check that your trainer is compatible with these before buying one. There are also smart fans available which will automatically adjust the power of their airflow in sync with how fast you're riding or how hard you're working. A dedicated trainer table can also help keep your devices plus any food or drinks easily within reach. In summary then, it's perfectly possible to build a great Zwift setup on almost any budget. For most people, the sweet spot is likely going to fall somewhere in the mid-range. If your budget can accommodate a direct drive smart trainer, we would highly recommend getting one, as that's where you'll see the biggest leap in performance. Lower priced wheel-on options can also do a good job, providing you can live with their limitations. At the opposite end of the scale, high-end smart trainers do undoubtedly cost a pretty penny, but there's also no denying they can offer fantastic performance in every area, and for many dedicated indoor cyclists, that will make the higher cost worth paying. Don't forget that most of the accessories mentioned at each level can be mixed and matched as desired to get the setup just right for your own personal needs. The key thing is to build the best Zwift setup for your requirements, not anyone else's. What are your must-haves for the perfect Zwift setup? Let us know in the comments below. Finally, thanks to our sponsor Zwift for their help in making this video possible. And if you're interested in learning everything there is to know about smart trainers, then why not watch this video?